today because my coworkers are out doing holiday decorations. There's your needle. And then what I'm doing is, I know it's blurry, but I'm putting this eye through there. And you take the thread, I don't know if you can see me or not because I'm leaning down more. Okay, so I got it through there, through that little hole, which is already through the eye in my needle, and it actually kind of hooks there a little bit. Pull, and voila, my needle's threaded. Okay, so I'm charmed this with a burlap because I like this, the tone, to mimic of kind of a flesh tone, and also because there's pretty easy holes in here, which will kind of save time and strength. But I'm just experimenting. I don't know how it's totally going to work. I know that it frays around the edges, but we have a new piece of equipment, a serger, that should help with the fraying here, like this. I already had this cut out here, these little crown pieces or whatever they are, and I'm choosing this for a mouth. And the mouth's a little bit indistinguishable, but that's all part of the fun. And also I think the tears demonstrate the sad part. I have this small safety pin in place here, just because it's one less thing to poke yourself on. I'm using embroidery floss because of the strength, tensile strength, more likely to hold up. Could I use shorter pieces of this? Yeah. So maybe if I had to do over, I would have used a shorter piece here. And I could just start over again. I'm going to try and follow my own advice. Perfection is my enemy. And that is, if I am constantly starting and restarting, and I have this real exacting standard, I'm not going to get anything done. And also I'm going to miss the spirit of this toy making, which is something fun for your kid, not something to try to express your value to the world or anything like that. And I would rather put just some kind of fun thoughts and dreams into the toy. And sometimes I'll put little prayers. I'll be thinking, I'll be praying about my child or someone. Okay, now I got a nod here. Someone who I'm imagining playing with this. And you know, depending on your belief system, those things are real. You know, to me that's real. That's a real hope or a dream or prayer that goes into this toy, and that is sort of bestowed upon that person along with the toy. We have Avance toys. We've heard stories about Avance toys 40, 50 years old. Well, not 50, but 40 years old, as old as the program is. And there's other toys, like I have a little toy box that my grandpa made me. And he made them for my cousins too. He made one for all the cousins. So that's almost 40 years old. And not only did I have that, but I use it all through my life, and I had some stuff stored in it up until recently. But I decided it was time to pull it out. Now it's out for my kids to enjoy. You know, and that's something he did that is a lasting impact on his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren. But if you get caught up in perfectionism and you can't get it done, you can't do it, or you think, oh, this project's not worthy of the recipient or whatever it is, then they don't receive that gift. And it doesn't last those years or that time, whether it's, you know, a couple times playing with it or whether it's 40 years like that toy box. So that's the reason for that philosophy. Something seems weird, like you're doing it wrong. Just stop. Stop for a second. Put it on, pull back. See? Look what I found. Big knot there. And I won't pull through. So there's a big knot there. Reminds me of life sometimes. Just keep yanking on it, tugging on it. Not getting anywhere. I'll try go back and stop for a second, pull its tangles a little bit. I mean, this toy making, yes, it's technical. That you're actually making something, but more than any of that, I just really think of it as emotional and spiritual outpouring into the toy, and also what we receive by doing it, like those little lessons. The other thing I'm noticing is this happens just about every time. You notice something keeps happening over and over again, and you're in a position to be better on guard to watch out for it. Remember the Velveteen Rabbit? Oh, the little boy plays with that thing so much that it just becomes real. But this toy could be loved like that. Hug, go on their bed, maybe go on their backpack, to whatever, back and forth. And as that happens, some of these stitches are going to gradually blend in more and more and more with the rest of the fabric. And it might be less visible. And the side effect of that is it's going to seem more real. And you know, we want the kids to put, in this particular toy especially, some emotions into this toy because it has, this guy's my little sad face, you know, maybe they'll think about it. How is that sad? Why is he sad? What happened? You know? Did someone make fun of him? Someone push him? Did he stub his toe? Did his pet die? No? Okay to be sad. Here's what I did. Put my finger through there, so when it comes up tight, It's going to come up against my finger. 2 fingers. Take one out. And pull it some more. And then I don't have that big tangle on. Got my finger caught. You know, I learned how to do it a different way. Pull it. Letting it. Oh no, germs. These toys are gonna have germs in them. They should be able to be washed once in a while. And if a child's sick, put them away for a while, or if you get lice or something like that, these can be put away for a while. Can be washed. You could also throw it in the dryer for a while. If you're worried about how it'll affect it, you could hand wash it, I think. But you know, there are germs in the world. And there's stuff you can do to boost your child's immunity with nutrition and other stuff, in addition to the constantly protecting them against those germs. What I like to think about when you're thinking about comparing or looking at what other people are doing, I was just thinking about my coworker Jennifer, who's extremely technically skilled at these things and creatively, and how much faster she'd be doing this right now. What I'll try to do is appraise what others are doing and maybe appreciate their skill level and what they're able to do. But I don't compare. If only my toy was just like hers, and it'd be so much better for my kids and look so much better. But you know, I'm not making a toy for her kid, I'm making a toy for my kid. What I do here. And my kid, cut that off. My kids told my toy from Japan. You know, they are going to be happy about having a toy that I made them. That's going to be some of the real value of this for them. My dad made this for me. Spent all this time making this thing for me. Don't expect them to always appreciate it. Yesterday my 13-year-old daughter said, "So what do you actually do for us?" And I started to tell her some things, and I just stopped and I just thought, you know what? I have nothing to prove to you. That I decided was kind of a waste of time. And I'm just gonna allow myself to feel that feeling that I wasted time. Not that I ruined the whole project or anything like that, but just, yeah, that was unnecessary. And when I come to a situation like that again, I'm going to do it differently. And that sounds like a lot like life, doesn't it? And parenting. Okay, now we're trying a different camera here. Get used to the toy here. Again. Again, I made a mistake. And I'm not gonna get hung up on it. And I'm gonna allow myself though to feel like, oh, I wasted some time. Well, that was dumb. I'm gonna allow myself to feel that a little bit, but I'm not gonna dwell on it. And I'm not gonna compare. You know, if I was sitting in a room here with 10 people, I might be the furthest one back. I might be the furthest one ahead. I'm just gonna do what I'm doing. That can be another reason to have time set aside for yourself that you're going to do this. You know, I'm going to spend an hour 3 times a week after the kids go to bed doing toy making, or I'm going to spend 3 hours on Saturdays. I'm going to drop the kids off at my sister's house, or we'll bring the kids over to the sisters and maybe we'll work on them together and have a little play date time and keep half an eye to the kids. But that's a different kind of experience than just being able to focus on it yourself. That's a little closer to the traditional way, by the way, and then kids were learning this stuff by being around you. One in the updater here. I have this stuff here. This is like a rule changer here. It's a fabric adhesive and it's very, very strong. It is a little difficult to work with, but and there's a price. You know, it's expensive. So, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix the nose and the eyes with this. And then I'm going to use the sewing to just sort of support those stitches. This stuff is very difficult to work with. What's the best, most jagged spot? What's the roughest patch to get it off of there? This works most. Effectively with the most jaggedy spot. That's how people are too. And that's going to be the easiest to work with. Your kids are going to find that spot too. That's what I was going to say before. They will find that spot. And sometimes they will just dig and dig and dig at it. You know, to get your attention. And people that battle with you, they'll do it too. You know? Someone looking for a fight, they'll look for the jagged places. That doesn't mean you have to make them smooth. It might be the right thing to make it smooth. I'm going to try a thicker diameter thread or a needle here. You don't have to make all those places smooth, but you just have to know that that's a place where people are going to pick at. And when you're vulnerable, in other ways, tired or spiritual issues or whatever it is, it's time to be very careful around those spots. Yeah, that's tough. I just want to say a couple things here. If you look at this here, nose, you can see the stitching there is uneven and knotty and so on. And I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a decision that I'm okay with this, how it is. And that this is for a toy. Now that's another view you could take is I'm better than that, and I can do better than that. And both of those would be very appropriate and positive responses for you. One that's I don't think is as helpful or appropriate is if you're saying I don't do good work or this thing's ugly or stuff like that. This is for a little kid to play with, so it's not something I'm trying to sell at a market or anything like that. And you could even say there's some beauty in those imperfections. That's what I ended up with. Alright, what I got here, I got the eyes on, I got the nose, and I'm starting to do the mouth.